For the next 2 days, Jacob didn't tutor Sophie and spent his nights practicing long-distance running on the sports field. He wasn't expecting to win first place, but he didn't want to end up coming last either. During the first practice, he was happy to know that his running skills were still intact and he just needed to regain his form. The 400-meter racetrack formed the boundary of the soccer field, and as night fell, only 4 to 5 lamps illuminated the track. The field was empty and quiet. Regulating his breathing and steps, Jacob practiced alone. He had purposely chosen to run here at 9 o'clock at night. In 1 hour, the entrance of the dorm buildings would be locked up. The basketball and soccer players had already gone back to their dorms, and so he would have no distractions while practicing. Today, in optical signal processing class, Susan, regarded as the prettiest teacher in the university, was wearing a black studded shirt, denim shorts, and brown leather boots. She looked so gorgeous that plenty of students seriously considered asking her out. But she didn't even glance at anyone's direction, not even at Jacob, whose sudden visit to her office last week had caused quite an uproar. She remained professional during the entire class and did not talk to anyone unless it was absolutely unavoidable. Although Jacob knew they crossed paths in another world, they had returned to the normal world and continued being strangers to each other. In this world, she was a teacher, and he was like any other student. Though Jacob was sure that Susan must have gone to Elder Liam to talk about him. When Jacob practiced his form on the racetrack, his mind wandered a lot, and he couldn't stop thinking about his new dragon clan. Sweaty and lost in his thoughts, Jacob stopped abruptly when a basketball rolled towards his feet. He picked up the basketball and turned around to see where it came from, and he saw a tall guy approaching him. Looking at the strong build and the muscular physique of the guy, Jacob immediately knew that it was Michael. Wearing a white jersey, Michael stretched his brawny hands to take the basketball, and Jacob immediately tossed it towards him. Known as the most handsome and athletic student of the university, Michael was the president of the university's rock climbing club and the celebrity student who was even pursued by the most popular girl in the school, Lisa. Michael reached out and caught the ball that Jacob had tossed at him. With the ball safely with his owner, Jacob swung his arms and prepared to start jogging again. "Sophomore?" Michael said suddenly. "Huh? Yeah, I'm a sophomore." Jacob turned to face him. "I heard that you've also given your name for the 1,500-meter race?" he asked. Jacob looked at him cautiously, sensing a hint of hostility in Michael's voice. "I heard that you've been in the limelight quite a lot recently," Michael continued, while spinning the ball on his right index finger. "You think you're quite suave, don't you, Mr. Sophomore? Getting picked up by a limo and dropped back in SUVs. Acting stylish, aren't we now?" "Did I steal your show?" Jacob asked directly. In a snap, Michael stopped spinning the basketball and said, "Yeah, I'm pissed off by your blatant show of wealth." Though he remained low-key, Jacob was never afraid of confrontation. Getting face-to-face with Michael on the racetrack, he asked, "So, as a senior, you want to teach me a lesson, don't you?" Michael didn't answer. Instead, he asked, "They say Susan asked you to her office all alone. What's going on between you and her?" Jacob sensed an intense amount of jealousy in his voice. "I have nothing to say to you," said Jacob, and sprinted off to practice for the race. Michael froze for a moment, surprised that an ordinary sophomore would be so arrogant. He gripped the basketball tight as he scrunched his face in anger and looked at Jacob sprinting away from him. By the time Jacob returned after his lap, Michael was gone. Jacob knew he had attracted a lot of attention in the past couple of weeks, and the several limo pickups on campus made him look like a big show-off. More importantly, Susan's invitation to her office made the popular guys envious as the girls were now eyeing Jacob. The boys on campus had the feeling that the fancy cars were an effort on Jacob's part to woo Susan, and it had worked. This infuriated them a lot. After all, their efforts only got the attention of college girls, but getting a pretty lady like Susan to go out with them was a dream come true. While she didn't even glance in their direction, Susan seemed to show a great deal of interest in Jacob, and it ticked off guys like Michael. Jacob didn't blame them. Susan was attractive, and he would be head over heels for her too if he didn't know she was an inspector of the Dragon Clan. It was almost 10 when Jacob jogged back to his dorm. Sam and his other 2 roommates were engaged in a fierce card game with Ken from the dorm room opposite to theirs. Jacob grabbed his towel and took a cold shower. He decided not to tell his roommates about the confrontation with Michael. Friday passed by quickly with only half a day of classes. As most of the students came from localities nearby, the university was usually quiet every Friday afternoon because most of the students went home. Sam and the others didn't want to go home this weekend, and they dragged Jacob and several others from the next-door dorm room to a nearby karaoke. After singing till their throats went sore, they went to a hot pot buffet. They stuffed themselves with beer and meat before returning to the dorm room for a game of cards. The day went by like a breeze. It comforted Jacob that he had a fun and trustworthy group of friends with him, no matter what happened. They did everything together. Going to classes, skipping the classes, drinking, and feasting. Sophie's third uncle would never appreciate this kind of happiness enjoyed by mortals, Jacob thought to himself. At 9 o'clock, Jacob put down the cards in his hand and said, "I'm going to the sports field to practice for the race." He didn't have a single glass of beer that day. His focus was on the competition. "Oh, don't go. It's no use practicing with only a few days left before the race. Play cards with us." Sam tried to stop him. "I can regain some of my form with practice. Ken, come over and play cards." Jacob stuffed his cards into Ken's hands. "It's on me if you lose, and you get all the benefits if you win." Grinning at the promise, Ken took his cards and sat down immediately. Jacob changed into his running shoes and jogged to the sports field. The campus was extremely quiet on Friday nights. When he was passing by the office building, Jacob looked up involuntarily as a weird thought occurred to him. Susan should be home now, shouldn't she? But where does she live? Helen said Susan had some special connection with the North Atlantic Dragon Clan, and Jacob wondered what it was. Maybe that was why she took a teaching position at the university? He was staring at Susan's office door when he saw 2 girls passing by, and when he met their gaze, they snorted in disdain. Every guy in college, more or less, was caught staring at Susan's office in hopes of seeing her. She couldn't be found anywhere else because she never lingered in corridors, had conversations with other teachers or students, or stepped in the cafeteria. Her unattainability made her even more desirable. Jacob left the corridor and reached the sports field. He began to run 10 laps according to his plan. He found that his stamina recovered faster than before, and he wondered if it was a result of the breakthrough into the first level of the Spirit Concentration Scroll. The dim lights extended Jacob's shadow while he enjoyed the vast sports field and the loneliness of the night. Circulating the energy according to the Spirit Concentration Scroll and savoring nature's essence, he regulated his breathing and steps as he ran at a steady pace. His clothes floated in the air. Jacob didn't realize there was a bright and calming aura around him when he ran. Every step he took was steady and firm, while a light breeze swam around him and swayed his clothes. The order of nature had unknowingly influenced Jacob, and each of his movements were as easy as a breeze. It was as if his body had become part of the 5 elements. After 10 laps were done, he decided to run for 10 more laps. Jacob was surprised that his strength had not diminished at all. He was practicing long-distance running, but he felt like he was strolling casually without any strain in his steps. Huh? During his second round of laps, he suddenly had a feeling that someone was watching him from a corner. He looked towards the entrance and saw Kathy. She was wearing a long chiffon floral dress and was sitting quietly on a step a dozen meters away. She was watching him with a wide, expectant smile on her face. She looked so pretty in the dim lights of the field. Jacob smiled back and decided to approach her.
Please subscribe to the Pocket FM YouTube channel and press the bell icon for instant notification. Check out our channel for more such exciting shows.